Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 8 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password is provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 8 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter GCF greatest common factor, LCM lowest common factor, multiple, GCF and LCM in word problems, and classifying numbers. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Here I am on grade 8 math. Chapter we're on right now is number 3. Let's just start with the first lesson, that is GCF greatest common factor. What is the greatest common factor of 11 and 12? The greatest common factor is the greatest whole number. That is a factor of each of the two or more numbers. So we need to write down the prime factors for both the numbers. Factor of 11 is a prime, so you don't need to factor 11, right? And the factors of 12 are 2 times 2 times 3. So now we need to find the common factor. So one of the number is prime, so no common factor they have. So that means their GCF is 1. Let's just start with the test questions. What is the greatest common factor of 12 and 4? So let's just write them down there. Prime factors. So the prime factors of 4 are 2 times 2, and the prime factors of 12 are 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 3 is 12. So the common factor between both the numbers is 2 times 2. That means 4. It is the greatest common factor is 4. that is 4. What is the greatest common factor of 14 and 7? So the greatest common factor, let's just write down the prime factors of 4 and 14 and 7. 2 times 7. So the greatest common factor is 7. 7 it is. The correct option is 7. What is the greatest common factor of 7 and 5? 5 is the prime number, right? So they do have only one common factor, that is 1. Option number 3 is the correct option. What is the greatest common factor of 12 and 15? The greatest common factor of 12 and 15. Let's just write down their common factors. Their prime factors. 3 times 5. 3 times 2 times 2. So the only common factor between them is 3. Option number 3 is the correct option. The greatest common factor of 18 and 12 is 6. Option number 4 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. That is LCM, lowest common multiple. What is the least common multiple of 12 and 3? So we need to write down the least common multiple in the least whole number, that is a multiple of each of 2. So the prime factors of 3 and 12. The prime factors of 12 are 2 times 2 times 3. So the common factors are 3 and the non-common factors are 2 times 2. That is 12. Let's just start with the test questions. What is the least common multiple of 5 and 12? So the least common multiple, let's just write down the prime factors of 5 and 10. So the common factor is 5, the non-common factor is 2. So 10, the correct option is option number 1 is the correct option. What is the least common multiple of 6 and 12? Let's just write down the multiples of 2 times 3. 2 times 2 times 3. 3 and 2. That is 2 times 3 times 2. That is 12. Option number 2 is the correct option. That would be 12. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 12. What is the least common multiple of 12 and 8? 2 times 2 times 3, 2 times 2 times 2. So they are the common multiples and they are the non-common multiples. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 3 is 24. The correct option is 24. Option number 3 is the correct option. What is the least common multiple of 3 and 9? So the multiples are 3 and 3 times 3. So the common factors and the non-common factors. 3 times 3 is 9. Option number 2 is the correct option. 9 it is. What is the least common multiple of 4 and 8? So the least common multiple of 4 is 2 times 2, and the multiples of 8 are 2 times 2 times 2. So what is the least common multiple? Eight it is. The correct option is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the least common multiple of 8, which is the correct option? The least common multiple of 8 and 2 is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is GCF and LCM and word problems. Franklin's apartment complex and the Clay Commons apartment complex have the same number of apartments. However, Franklin's apartment complex is built in groups of 7 apartments, while the Clay Commons apartment complex is built in the cluster of 8. What is the smallest number of apartments could each complex have? The least common multiple is the least whole number that is multiple of each of two or more numbers. So 7 is a prime number, so you don't have to make the factors, simply multiply them. 7 times 8 is 56. Let's just start with the test questions. A club has 18 girls and 2 boys as a members. The president wants to break the club into groups, with each group containing the same combination of girls and boys. The president also wants to make sure that no one is left out. What is the greatest number of groups the president can make? 2 and 18. Let's just write down the prime factors of 18. 2 times 3 is 6 and 6 times 3 is 18. That is the common factor, that is 2. Option number 1 is the correct option, that is 2 groups. Monroe Vitamin Shop sold equal quantities of vitamin A and vitamin D supplements this morning, even though the vitamin A supplements come in packs of 12 and vitamin D supplements are pack of 5. What is the smallest number of each type that the store could have sold? So, which is the correct option? So, it is 60 supplements. Option number 4 is the correct option. Devi is thinking of a number that is divisible by 3, both 3 and 11. What is the smallest number that Dave could be thinking of? -33. It is option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is classifying numbers. Is -9 a real number? Yes, it is. -9 is a real number. Let's just start with the test questions. Is square root 6 an integer? No, that is not an integer. The correct option is no. Which of the following is a natural number? The correct option is 4. 4 is the natural number. Which of the following does not describe the number 6? Six is does not describe, it is not a rational number, right? Oh, sorry, irrational number. Which of the following numbers are irrational? Irrational. 3 by 4 it is. That is pi. Pi is an irrational number. Is negative 9 a real number? No, negative 9 is not a real number. Option number 2 is the correct option. It is a real number actually. What is the number 1 by 2? Irrational number it is. Option number 3 is the correct option. Rational number it is. Irrational number it is. Which of the following is a natural number? 5 is the natural number. Option number 1 is the correct option. Which of the following is an integer? Negative 4 is an integer. Option number 3 is the correct option. Which of the following describes 2 by 3? Rational number it is. Is negative 1 whole 1 by 4 an irrational number? No, that is not an irrational number. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 8 math. Chapter we were working on is GCF, greatest common factor, least common multiple, GCF and LCM word problems and classifying numbers. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you, or either you can write them down in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any.